ground from the power supply. (110) or 220 to the AP120 controller. Select your voltage, 115 in this case. Control cable, which works between the 120 and the power supply. Always use the ground end into the controller. Power, in this case, can go to the back of the Miller power supply. This is the ground, which was in the back of the AP120. Goes to the ground out of the Miller. This is your negative coming out of the weld head. And control cable coming from the AP120. Water hoses coming out of the weld head. Gas hose into the power supply. And finally, ground to the weld head, which is marked positive. Ground goes into the body of the 238 weld head, and your negative coming out of the power supply goes to your electrode. And then your control coming out of the weld head screws in here at weld head. Turn on the power supply. Turn on the water cooler.
go.
Turn on your controller. If when you turn it on you get no power, it may be because your e-stop is pushed down. Twist it to turn the power back on, and to set your weld parameters, this button moves over among columns, and this button moves down among the various parameters. First, we set our start delay. We'll set this at 3 seconds. Rotation speed, in this case, we'll try 10 seconds. Overlap time, 3 seconds. Peak amperage, 135 amps. Power supply, in this case we're running a 350 amp power supply. Wire speed, 0 because there's no wire feed. Wire start delay, also 0. Pulses per second, we will run 2. Peak time, on average we tend to do 33%. Also background, 33%. Upslope, initial amps, we'll try 25. Initial slope, 1 second. Final slope, 10 seconds. And final amps, 20 is fine. Last, this isn't used with the 238 weld head very often, but sector welding. Sector start, you can adjust the time to start at 10 seconds. Current, slope time, wire speed. However, in this case, we're only running a single sector. We're not doing multi-sector. So to make sure we have no other sectors, set that to 0. Down, we're now on sector 3. Sector start, also 0. Sector 4, sector start is at 0. Sector 5, sector start is at 0. So we have no other sectors running besides the primary. To check your rotation speed, you would go to no weld, and on the weld head, hit weld start. This would run a no weld test and give you a calculation of the complete weld time so that you can adjust your weld speed correctly. In this case, we already know that a 10 or 9% rotation speed works fine for a 1-inch pipe. The weld head. Start, stop, return to home, and jog. Jog moves it in one direction if you press it once, the other direction if you press it again. Here you can adjust your tungsten height or replace it. Here you can adjust your clamping force on your collets. Hit return to home to bring your tungsten into the correct position, and line up 1/2 of the pipe with the tungsten. Second half can be butted up and clamped. Last, we've set our power supply to have a 20-second pre-flow and 10-second post-flow. Hook up your ID purge and weld start.